Oh, well, you made it. You're finally here. Welcome to Half Cocktails, a place where we have a great time celebrating science, the social contract, and just plain old congeniality. Dare I say, a place where we seek a path to peace, prosperity, and exploration amongst the stars. What I'm talking about is an all-inclusive society, meaning if you're not on board with the understanding that we all agree to shared rules, norms, and respect, we're not obligated to even consider your opinion, because the social contract is that important to a civil society. I'm your friend and host, Dan, the worshipping Dionysus man, sipping on some science today with a hawkish and haunting drink. Welcoming any new listeners joining us today. We hope you're doing well and having a good time. We hope you have a good time here. And with me today is Ron and the professor. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Doing great.
Quite well.
Good to hear. Good to hear. These guys have one easy trick that leaves casinos mad as hell. But we'll get to that at the end of the show. I got a really fun, informative show for you today, brought to you by Monsters, Inc. A monster under every bed, darkness in every closet. We're going to have a look back at the firing squad execution of Eddie Slavik, which happened on January 31st, 1945. We'll have some fact-checking, some news, some feel-goods. Of course, we encourage you to reach out to us at halfcocktails@gmail.com, or maybe you want to send us a text or voice message. That number is 443-499-8253. We're careful. We will use any of those interactions here. You can hit us up on the Discord. You can find us on Facebook and TikTok, even YouTube. Leave a comment, leave some feedback, share whatever you'd like to share. We'll talk about it here. But for now, let's hop into that time machine.
Nothing would be better than a look at days of yester in a time machine.
Okay, so Edward Donald Slavik was the last man to be executed for desertion by the military since the American Civil War. I should say by the American military. Although 21,000 different soldiers were given varying sentences for desertion during World War II, including 49 of them were given the death sentence, only Eddie Slavik was actually killed. Everybody else had their sentences commuted. So you'd think this guy is pretty heinous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's.
Wait, no, I don't.
Sounds like.
Sorry, I just agreed blindly. But no, actually, I don't think that.
You would assume that based on those facts, but based on the fact that I'm the one telling you, it might change your interpretation.
You mislead.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I'm a Slytherin. Sorry. This guy, reading his story, this hit close to home for me. Thank you to any veterans out there. I am a coward. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to kill people. I don't want people to try and kill me. Okay, so this man's story, definitely, I could feel myself inside of him a little bit.
That doesn't sound good, man.
It does not. He's born in 1920, not a super wealthy family. And as a kid, he's a troublemaker, constant contact with the police. He got arrested at 12 years old for breaking into a factory to steal some brass. He got arrested in his teens several times for petty theft, breaking and entering, disturbing the peace. Nothing really serious. But in October 1937, they did send him to prison. He got paroled. He stole a car, crashed it with a couple friends while drunk, got sent back to prison. So he's out in 1942. The war is going strong, and he doesn't qualify for the draft because of his criminal history, right? So he gets a job with a plumbing and heating company in Michigan, starts dating the bookkeeper at the company. They get married, and then all of a sudden, in 1944, they go, hey, you know what? You are draftable, Eddie Slavik. Come on down.
Uh-oh.
We actually do think you could do this job.
We do need cannon fodder.
We do need men to get killed on the front lines against Germany. So they sent him to join the fighting in German-occupied France. And right away, they come into some heavy artillery fire. and in the middle of the night, and he and another guy got left behind from their company. So they kind of wander around and they find a nearby occupied town full of Canadian military police. They hang out with them while waiting for the arrangements to get taken back their company, which they do the next day. That's when Slavik went to his commander and was like, "Hey, I'm too scared to be a frontline rifle guy. I can you reassign me to the rear unit?" And the captain was like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "Look, I'm going to run away. If you put me in that rifle unit and you put me up front, I'm just going to run. I don't want to die. Like, I really don't want to die.
I'm no good to you here."
and his captain's like, "That would be deserting. That would be a court martial." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, that's right. I'll still run." and the captain just denies it. He's like, "Nope, you're going." So the very next day, he doesn't show up for duty. The guy that hid with him in the night when they were shelling caught up with him as he was like walking away and was like, hey, like, stay, don't desert. And he's like, "No, I made up my mind." Walked several miles to the rear and he approached an enlisted cook and gave him a note which stated, "I, Private Eddie D. Slavik, confess to the desertion of the United States Army. At the time of my desertion, we were in Alba, France, and I came there as a replacement. They were shelling the town, and we were told to dig in for the night. The following morning, they shelled us again. I was so scared. I was trembling at the time. The other replacements moved. I couldn't move. I stayed there in my foxhole till it was quiet, and I was able to move. I walked to town, not seeing our troops, stayed overnight in the French-Canadian hospital. Then next morning, I turned myself over to the Canadians. He was there. I was with him 6 weeks, and now I told my commanding officer my story. I said if I had to go out again, I'd run away. He said there was nothing they could do for me, so I ran away, and I'll run away again if I have to." So that's a pretty long note. It's very serious. And that can you imagine being like some guy that's just like cooking potatoes and some like soldier just walks in and hands you a note? "I'm a coward. I ran away."
Like, damn.
Oh, fuck. What do I do with this? Well, he took him to the military police, who took them to the company commander and read the note. That guy reads the note, hands it right back to Slavik, and is like, "Destroy that before we have to arrest you." And Slavik's like, No. So the commander's like, "Shit, okay, fuck." Brought him to the lieutenant colonel, who again was like, "Hey, you want to tear this note up?" And he's like, No, I don't. And then the lieutenant colonel's like, "Okay, but on the back of this, write down that you understand the consequences of deliberately incriminating yourself, and it's going to be used against you in a court martial." So Slavik's like, "Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I made up my mind. I'll take my court martial."
It's not fine, is it?
It's not fine. They even offered to like, "Look, we'll pretend this didn't happen. We'll just drop you in another unit with a clean slate." And he was like, No, give me a court martial." Now it seems that Eddie did not quite understand the consequences of a court martial.
Doesn't sound like.
He thought it would give him a dishonorable discharge, send him home, and he's like, I'm an ex-con. I already can't get a lot of jobs. So any job that would see a dishonorable discharge and disqualify you would do the same thing, just seeing he's an ex-con. So that's where his mind is at. Like,
I can see his logic from his point of view.
Right? He thinks he's going to do some time and go home. Well, this is happening right as the Americans were retaking France. His infantry division was scheduled to be part of the attack in the Hurtgen Forest, and that attack was common knowledge in the unit. Everybody knew casualty rates were going to be high, and it was going to be prolonged combat, probably unusually grueling. The Germans were just fucking determined to hold that area. Obviously, it was to keep the tide from turning in the war. It had bad weather, so the American advantages in armor and air support weren't so useful, and about 0.5% of soldiers were indicating they preferred to be in prison rather than remain in combat. The rate of desertion was on the rise.
Ouch.
So they needed to make an example out of Eddie Slavik, and he was charged with desertion to avoid hazardous duty and tried by court-martial November 11th. He had to be tried by a court-martial composed of staff officers from other U.S. Army divisions because all combat officers from his division were fighting on the front lines.
Oh,
They were occupied. Yes.
Occupied doing what he refused to do. At the court-martial, he elected not to testify. He didn't even talk in his own defense.
Huh.
At the end of the day, the 9 officers of the court all found him guilty and sentenced him to death.
From their point of view, they probably had no choice, unfortunately.
Yes. It's such a hard thing to do, right? Like you're in charge of running this army, and it's middle of warfare, and it's the thick of it. Like the fighting was some of the worst against the Allies and Germany there in France at that time.
And at how many levels did they give him an out?
yeah.
Every step of the way. Every step of the way. Like, hey, you don't want to do this. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Oh, poor Eddie. Eddie.
Yeah, he wasn't the brightest bulb, right? So the major general that approved the death sentence, the division commander, Major General Norman Coda, stated, attitude was, given the situation as I knew it in November 1944, I thought it was my duty to this country to approve that sentence. If I hadn't approved it, if I had let Slavik accomplish his purpose, I don't know how I could have gone up to the line and looked a good soldier in the face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Slavik actually wrote to Eisenhower pleading for clemency. However, at the time, desertion started to become kind of a systemic problem in France. With the Battle of the Bulge, the surprise German offensive through the Ardennes started December 16th, like a week after Slavik wrote this letter. And we know that had really bad U.S. casualties.
Yeah, brutal.
And was a big threat to that advance. So Eisenhower ended up, a week after Battle of the Bulge, confirmed the execution order and said it was necessary to discourage further desertions, which was a shock to Slavik. Did not expect this to happen.
I expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot of ways to live in this story.
Yes.
And no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
No, they don't. Yeah, so executed by firing squad on January 31st, 1945, near the French village of Sainte-Marie-aux-Mines. Mines? I don't know. I don't speak French. Slavik said to the soldiers that were prepping him for the firing squad, he claimed that they were doing it because he stole shit when he was 12. So, a little petulant, still didn't really understand that this was all of his own making.
Poor Eddie.
Well, I guess you could say they did draft him. They did force him over there. But he definitely could have played his hand different. 12 soldiers tied him to a 6x6 post, and they had 11 real bullets, 1 blank. So I guess so everybody can be like, well, maybe mine was the blank.
Maybe I didn't do it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, especially because he was hit by 11 bullets, but 4 of them fatal. But they went from like his left shoulder, his neck, his left upper arm, and I can't imagine being on the firing squad and hitting the left upper arm and being like, oh, maybe I had the blank. Like, clearly you botched your shot.
Right. And that's why so many had to have live rounds. They were such terrible shots. Obviously.
That's why it was 11 and not 6 and 6, right? Oh, that's awful. His wife was not able to get the pension for her husband's service because he died from desertion.
Oh, double ouch.
And yeah, double ouch, right? She actually spent the rest of her life petitioning presidents to pardon him, and none of them ever would. In fact, it happened until her death in 1979. In fact, it wasn't until 1987 that they even returned his remains to the United States. His grave was in France, behind some hedgerows, and they weren't even names. It was just numbers. So if you didn't have like the key to their code, you wouldn't even know who was buried where, because they got buried with a bunch of rapists and murderers. Crazy shit. Not only do I not want to fight, my grandfather was convicted of going AWOL, is the way it was described to me. But when I read this, It sounded an awful lot like desertion. And the family story goes that he and his brother were rounded up with all the other guys in the South Pacific that had gone AWOL. And they were all gathered up and put together and told, like, the penalty for desertion is death. So you guys hang out here while we figure out how to carry that out.
Yeah.
And they had to stand there in like a prison yard for like an hour before they came back and went, all right, because we won the war, we decided not to kill all of you.
Today you get very lucky.
Yeah, right? And I was like, I always took it as like, oh, haha, they were just fucking with him. But reading this today, I was like, holy shit. No, they actually were debating. Do we kill these hundreds of men or do we send them home? What do we do?
It costs us more to kill them probably than to just send them home. Let them be someone else's problem.
It's so true. Oh, God.
There is a price tag on a human life.
That's Simpsons. Mr. Simpson, you can't put a price on your wife and kids' safety. I didn't think so, but here we are.
Yes.
Slams the door. So Eddie Slavik, there has not been another military desertion, death sentence, execution since. Thankfully. I mean, I don't know how the military works with that stuff now.
Sounds like today, poor Eddie may have been declared mentally incompetent during his case there.
Yep. Did either? Am I the only one who had a grandfather go AWOL or desert? Is that just me?
I mean, I don't know of him deserting. He served on the USS South Dakota in World War II.
Yep. My grandfather was on the USS Helena in the South Pacific after getting blown up at Pearl Harbor, but back on the water 10 days later.
Yeah, but how the hell are you going to desert when you're in the Navy?
Swim really hard.
All right, guys, I'm making a swim for it. Fuck this.
85 miles that way. Go.
Oh, good stuff. Let's move on. Let's talk about some news.
It's time for some news from our point of view. We'd even be glad if we could have a lap or two. It's time for some news.
All right. Hey, did you guys hear about cyborgs? You heard about these fucking cyborgs?
A little bit. Tell me more.
No, I didn't hear about the cyborgs. Well, maybe. Tell me more, and I'll say.
Out of the University of Tokyo, there's a research group led by let me see if I can get the name right. Shoji Takuchi. He started in 2021. Was getting some scientific notoriety for growing lab-based meat to eat. The lab steaks. And apparently at some point he was like, wait, why not biohybrid robots? I'm already growing muscle in the lab. So they grew some skeletal muscle and attached it to silicone legs.
Excellent.
So is his new company Cyberdyne?
Right?
Living tissue over metal endoskeleton?
Yeah. Don't worry, they don't know they're bots. They'll all be fine. It's super early stages, so the legs don't even stand on their own. They've got them floating in water.
They don't even stand on their own.
I know, right? Weak ass. Yeah, and it is really weak, simple skeletal muscle. But there's just they're using the shit to zap it, and it contracts. And so they can, and I'll have a link to the video of it in the episode description. Nice. It can walk, it can stop, it can fully turn, everything, you want in your Killbot cyborg.
Can it line dance? That's what I want to know.
I definitely want to see a bunch of robots line dancing. Yeah, it absolutely could. They need to figure out how to, of course, get them thicker and stronger, these skeletal muscles, scaling up to, if they're going to have it be any use beyond like a thing in a tank to show your friends, like, there's my cyborg in there.
Look, he bleeds.
If you cut him, That's definitely one of the things. Is he's like, since we're using living tissue, he has to figure out how to get nutrients to the tissue to fuel it.
And how do you treat its damage? You put a Band-Aid on it, or do you take it to a mechanic?
Good question. They did not address that. But he did say he's got to give it joints. He's got to, make the muscles bigger. He's got a nutrient supply system, and then he's also got to change the device structure so it doesn't require water to walk.
Just don't give it an opposable thumb. That's how it all ends.
Okay. But you know what? If it doesn't need an opposable thumb, if it's got a USB drive, it's gonna walk around and it's like, oh yeah, you use your thumbs for what? A keyboard and a mouse? Psh, I just plug in. Damn it. That bastard.
Worded.
I thought that was really, really fun and interesting, and I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I never made the jump of, wow, they're growing steak in a lab to, wow, they're growing muscles that work in a lab.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be curious down the line what the practical applications are.
All I could think was, like, if you have part of a limb, like, gone, blown off,
right.
Whatever, like, oh, well, let's grow you some replacement muscle.
Yeah.
And graft that onto, a prosthesis.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can see that being really
That's
useful.
cool. I like that one.
Yeah. Also, coming soon, ribeye steak. Flavor your ribeye steak.
I'm so excited for that.
Oh, human meat? Lab-grown human meat?
Yeah, lab-grown human meat.
What do I taste like? Little fatty.
Sorry, not for human meat, but for a lab-grown ribeye from like a cow.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it's going to be superior to any organically grown cow, because if it's grown in a lab, you can get the marbling perfect every time.
You get that nice Kobe beef with, half the price, quarter the price.
Perfect marbling. You don't need, ethically sourced. You don't need to feel bad about eating lab-grown veal, right?
Right.
They don't have to fucking torture a cow to get veal. They can just tweak what they're doing in the lab. I love that.
If lab-grown meat tastes as good as the real thing, I am fully on board.
It's going to be the real thing.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, exactly. I'm there. Bring it.
Right? And it's wild. It's the same science of like, wow, okay, this guy needs a heart transplant. Can we regrow? Can we grow him a heart? Like, well, yeah, let's grow him a heart based on his genetics. Let's do that.
Can we grow it 4 times larger? 5 times larger?
Calm down, Seabiscuit.
Well, I had that shockingly wrong with my human meat. I did not know.
No, that was Ron's joke. That was Ron's joke for sure.
Oh, okay.
I was the one that got that wrong. Like, oh yeah, I can't wait to eat that. Oh shit. No, I do not want to eat human steak. I had no interest. I had the opportunity in that mountain pass all those years ago, and I said no then.
And thus the prophecy was fulfilled.
On brighter news, they've identified a new species of dinosaurs. They're calling Pharaoh's chicken from hell.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's the Ioniophron infernalis, the research team out of Oklahoma University. We're checking through fossils and analyzing the fossils under the microscopes, the ones that they've been getting out of the South Dakota Hell Creek Formation. And they were looking at that Anzu dinosaur that was discovered in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going through and they're like, oh, check out this juvenile Anzu. And then they start analyzing the bone structure and they're like, wait, this is an adult. Hold on, let's look closer. They found that it had ridges on the foot and a fused ankle and tibia. And they're like, this is not something the dinosaur would have outgrown. And they realized that it was a completely new species, just closely related. So while the Anzu is about the weight of a grizzly bear, this hell chicken is about the weight of a human. So, I mean, it would definitely fuck you up.
The dinosaur bird connection is pretty crystal clear.
Yes. These and we are talking about feathered dinosaurs. These dinosaurs have been shown to be feathered. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, these are raptors that will kill you. They didn't have teeth; they had a beak, just like chickens today. And this discovery led them to look at other bones that they thought were juvenile Anzu, and they found one that they haven't even named yet. That was about an adult would be about the weight of a German Shepherd.
Whoa!
And I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Even that sounds terrifying to me. Imagine
coming soon, a purse dinosaur.
Right. Yeah, this is my teacup raptor, my teacup velociraptor.
He's so cute.
Okay, so cute.
Yeah, no, one of these the size of a German Shepherd, I would be terrified. Like if that was running at me, screaming like a fucking chicken with its giant razor beak. Like no, thank you, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Let alone the one the human sized.
Yeah.
And it wasn't this particular article that I'm shared, but the feathered dinosaurs. Another paper addresses how they would be using their feathers to intimidate and scare off other predators and other potential
to look larger. I expect.
Yeah, right.
That's amazing. I didn't know, the evolutionary connection between dinosaurs and birds as a child.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how out it was at that point in my education in the 90s. But then I did when I saw an ostrich for the first time at Rooster Cockburn's Ostrich Farm. And I was
You're a dinosaur, bro.
There's just no question. Yeah, I see you for what you are. And when you peck this seed or whatever out of my hands, I feel evolutionary fear. This is
yes.
We're not supposed to be here at the same time.
The little tiny quadruped inside of me is really telling me to run right now.
Coward.
Yeah. I felt the same way when I first came across chickens' feet, and I was looking at their feet, and I'm like, that looks like a dinosaur foot from like the cartoons, like
right? Or in reality, the fossil mud, footprints in mud, fossilized, that looks just like that. It looks like poultry feet.
I remember
Foul.
Jurassic Park being the movie that introduced me to the idea of feathered dinosaurs.
Oh.
Mainstreamed that, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie, and they were like, they had that line where like, where did they all go? And then Sam Neill's character is like, maybe they flew away.
They're still here.
Maybe they're still here, and like a flock of birds flies or something. All right, well, let's get one more news story in. You want to talk about solar energy or AI poison?
AI poison sounds pretty scary.
AI content, everybody loves it.
Let's introduce this article with a little bit of a discussion, because this article doesn't deal completely with it, but it definitely deals with this. AI, these large language models, these image models, they can't exist without scraping everyone's data. So
right, they have to steal our info.
That's right.
To learn, yes.
It's a growing problem, and it's really interesting to me to think like, wait, who actually owns it? It's like this company, like ChatGPT, they're saying, oh, we own this model. It's like, but wait, you created that model with things I put on the internet, things you put on the internet, things everybody put on the internet.
The real reason Elon Musk bought Twitter,
right?
To get our data for his AI.
For his fucking AI. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll talk about Musk and Twitter later, I'm sure. I have something teed up for that. Okay, so there's a new tool that has been released for visual artists. It's called Nightshade, named after the deadly poison / makeup of the Renaissance. The Glaze Project has go ahead. They've released it for free. Anybody can use it. And the idea is that it will poison artificial intelligence models that seek to train on the artwork you use the tool on. So the tool essentially uses the open source PyTorch AI to take the image and change the shading. So our eyes don't really see much of a difference, but the AI model that would be trained on it would not be seeing what we would be seeing. So it's to trick the AI. Now, if it's just your image alone, it's not going to be a big effect. But what they're hoping is if everybody starts adopting these kinds of tools, then it will literally poison the well, and then AI won't be able to just scrape up these images and actually learn anything meaningful. With all this being an attempt to say, hey, AI company, license my work for your model. Don't steal it. They want to make licensing it cheaper than stealing it. And the only way we can really do that is make stealing it more hurtful and expensive by using tools like this nightshade.
The digital license plate reflector cover.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Or those shirts that celebrities buy that when you take the picture, it like looks all fucking crazy, but you and I can just look at it and it's a shirt.
Oh yeah. I forgot about those. Those are cool.
It's so sci-fi.
Yeah, this is the AI online version of that, right?
Yeah, so I mean the idea of this AI model is going to scrape the entire internet, and then for art data especially, I don't know why it seems less, shocking to me that it would scrape all of the words on the internet. But to all the images, like artists what else are they going to do? Like how else are they going to, if you have to sell notoriety in order to be a workaday artist, man, it's just getting harder and harder to do the thing that is culture, you know? Art is culture. We need it to enjoy our lives, and we treat artists like they're useless, but they make what we enjoy.
Well, what if we don't need them? What if computers can make it all?
I mean, maybe, but there's still, it feels like a highly commodifiable industry.
Oh, absolutely.
With a lot of intrinsic motivation to be an artist. But then society just keeps saying, no, we're going to want you to be flipping burgers.
But not paid for it.
Yeah.
Right. No, never paid for it.
Yeah, not paid well enough to live. I really, really want to be an optimist and be like, wow, all these automation tools, surely this will lead to some sort of universal basic income and we can all just enjoy living and not worry about the grind. But no, it seems like, well, no, we're just going to go ahead and edge out half the population. You'll be homeless.
Right.
Yeah. The cynic in me says that this AI renaissance was driven by corporations seeing too many people in their eye be able to get rich on their own by creating quality content. Things like, podcasts.
Or I can limit my labor costs using AI.
Exactly. I don't have to pay somebody for this job.
We don't want it to be possible for people to just use their own talent, skill, and wherewithal to be able to pay their bills. How else are we going to milk people?
Yeah, I don't think most of the people that make those decisions ever even for a second consider that. They are just like, how can I lower my cost? That's it.
Yeah,
it's
it.
So simple.
Bottom line,
how am I lowering my costs and increasing my income? If I focus on those two things, I'll have a successful business. It's certainly what it's taught in economics and business classes. Well, I mean, when I took them anyway. Anyways, speaking of, I think maybe we should just edge over and start talking about some snake oil since we're on the topic.
We tell me.
Oh, snake oil on sale for me. Nothing but snake oil, and it ain't free.
All right. So this made me laugh. This was not This was not a popular TikTok I did, and I think because people felt like they were duped by the hashtag crypto. A Colorado online church pastor, which lets me know that I can start the Church of the Old Gods through the internet and through a podcast. We're going to get there.
I'm in. I will pay a tithe. Tithe me, man.
$3 a month, and you could be. No, tithing. You can't require it. Wait, Scientology does, right? I don't know. We'll get into the details of that later. Back to the story. This guy and his wife, they're running this online church in Colorado. They just got charged by Colorado state authorities for violating their anti-fraud provisions under the Colorado Securities Act. They started selling their own crypto token.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good.
Through their own crypto exchange.
No!
Red flag,
yeah,
red alert.
They created something they called the Kingdom Wealth Exchange, an online cryptocurrency market, and then sold their followers a worthless INDX coin. And he claims God told him to do it.
Oh, well, if God told him to do it.
That's what I said. I was like, okay, well, get God on the phone. If he verifies it, then no charges.
Can we indict God?
Wait, whoa, I didn't think about it that way, Ron. That's even better. Like, whoa, sounds like we need to get God in here.
I sense co-conspirator at best.
Oh, he was okay. Well, it just sounds like this just turned into a RICO case. I'm quoting this guy. He said, "I know this looks bad. I know this looks terrible. I either misheard God about launching the coin, or God is still not done with this project."
I may have misheard.
I may have misheard God.
What God meant to say. God damn. Yeah, he says, like, God might not be done. We might need to brace ourselves for a miracle in the financial sector.
Mm-hmm.
Could be happening any day now.
A miracle that is somehow a financial windfall for me.
Jesus is going to come back and he's going to buy your crypto, bro. First thing he's doing. Where's the exchange? He admitted in his apology video. He also admitted, we sold a cryptocurrency with no clear exit. We did. We took God at his word.
Oh man, God is such a liar.
That son of a bitch.
We got to get him in here.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to testify. He could be compelled to testify. He's implicated in the case.
I hope so. The guy noted that out of the $1.3 million the couple kept for themselves, $500,000 went to the IRS, and he only spent a few $100,000 on his home remodel, which God told him to do as well.
I mean, it's responsible. Sounds great. I get it.
So how much did he get in? How much did he rake in?
$1.3 million.
Jesus.
That's approaching Axonar levels of grift right there.
Right,
very close.
Right? God, it's so sad. Please do not buy a cryptocurrency your pastor is selling. That's not a good look. Also,
or most of what he's selling.
Please don't buy anything the pastor is selling. Also, I cannot see the God told me to do it argument working out. It's never worked for anybody before.
Yeah.
So I can't see it working out for this guy.
It only works if you have the town bought. It worked for who's the FLDS guy? Warren Jeffs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because everybody in the town was under him religiously. So yeah, the cops and the mayor, they're not going to do anything.
That's also worked out well for the Liberanites in Chihuahua, Mexico. Again, an offshoot of the LDS, the fundamentalists.
Ugh.
Same thing. And it's pretty gross.
Always forget about them. God, they're everywhere. While the Mormons do breed like cockroaches, we do know that more people are leaving that church than ever before. So I think it's actually shrinking.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
I hope so. Unlike their bank account.
Oh, okay. All right. You guys know what time it is?
Oh my God.
What time is it?
It's fact-checking time.
Fact-checking time.
Ooh.
Here we go, what do you know? It's fact-checking time. Will you believe or be deceived. It's fact-checking time. Cross my heart and hope to die. Stick a needle in my eye. Here's the quiz that all the kids call fact-checking time.
Okay. All right. You know the rules. I've got a story that really has been fact-checked, and I've got a story that has not been fact-checked. And you got to tell me which one was actually fact-checked. Okay. Are you ready, Professor?
It's my turn, so I am ready.
Okay. All right. Story number 1. Twitter has blocked searches for Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Yeah. Elon Musk's X has blocked searches for Taylor Swift. Claims on social media were made after a bunch of filthy AI pics were being created and spread on the platform. Or is Texas slang for crazy in Norway?
All right, let's see. Okay.
Which one got fact checked?
I say Taylor. For better or for worse, I would want to fact check that story, and I would take the other one as truth without needing to fact check.
Without needing a fact check. I love that reasoning. Sadly, that's not correct. They did have to fact check whether Norwegians say Texas is slang to me wild or crazy, and they do. It is true.
Well, at least that's some good news.
Nobody fact checked. They just accepted that Elon Musk would censor shit. So
did he? Wait.
Yeah, no, that really happened. It just wasn't fact checked, and it was because people are sharing Taylor Swift nudies they made with AI.
It's a brave new world.
Now that right there feels bad.
Gonna get a lot worse.
What even is why do we need that? Why is that a product?
I think it's because first of all, most of the internet is porn, and sadly, humans can always be boiled down to our base instincts.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, earlier when we were talking about making cyborgs, it didn't occur to me till we were having this discussion that the real future of that is they're going to build a robot vagina, and if you manage to get a piece of Taylor Swift's hair, they'll build a matching vagina. Could you imagine that? You could custom order a celebrity's biohybrid robot vagina or cock. It's 2024.
Build your own vulva by numbers.
Okay, if I had a child that was interested in science and they were like 13 and they could build their own sex bot, but they had to learn all of the principles behind it, I don't know if I would stop them. Like, all right, he's fucking learning shit.
I'm proud Barris.
Wait, you wouldn't have a special Mike Johnson approved app to see which of you is watching porn and keep each other accountable?
What if you both are?
I just assume they use that app to share their porn. Like, hey, Dad, I caught this really fucking hot video.
Yeah,
check this one.
Check this out.
Hey,
you think we can climax together?
What's Dad jerking off to? Oh, that's hot. God damn it. Okay, let's get back to some fact checking here. Either story 1, male spiders sometimes use random trash to attract mates instead of catching a bug and wrapping it up to prove they're a good provider. Male spiders will apparently, according to a post online, take pieces of random trash and wrap them up to fool women spiders.
Subterfuge.
Lady spiders.
Or a guy on social media in Atlanta has shared a $30,000 water bill for a plot of land that doesn't have a water line even connected to it.
That does suck.
I feel like that needs the fact check. So that's my pick, is the one that requires, in my mind, the fact check.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right, I'm going to keep losing, but it's just great content. Great content.
They had to fact check whether or not male spiders try to get sneaky laid, and they do, of course. Oh, he catches so many flies. Yeah, I do, baby.
Nope, I don't believe it. Because if that were true, then I'd get more.
Then you'd get one.
I'd get more lady spiders. So it must not be true. I need to check this out.
It's not my real pheromones, honey. It's just trash.
Yeah, I got the trash. I just keep forgetting to wrap it in spider silk. That's my problem. This guy in Atlanta, you would think it would need to get fact checked, but apparently people will absolutely believe the water company will charge you for shit you didn't do. It's really egregious. Somebody's probably stealing water. He's been charged for 1 million gallons of water in 1 month. 305,000 gallons in 1 month, which is probably not possible. I'd have to check the flow rate on that pipe.
Check that with my dad, because he gets $8,000 or $9,000 water bills regularly.
Oh God,
it's like that's a lot more than just leaving the faucet dripping.
Yeah, no, I mean he'll go to water his plants and then he'll go to work.
Oh, and just leave it on. Damn. Okay, 9,000. That's just this guy hasn't even built the house, right? It's just a meter on the end of an open property, and he's appealed it through the whole water company process. And a couple times they were like, "Oh yeah, that's wrong," but it keeps coming back. They're like, "Nope." Somebody above them will be like, "Nope," they'll reverse it.
Oh, they got that from my dentist.
Okay, last one to try and redeem some dignity. Yeah.
Dignity. Yeah. The thing I don't have.
Yeah.
I was 3 for 3 last time, I believe.
Ron, that's right, Ron. Rub it in.
Yeah. Well, that's because he knows your tricks. I'm always assuming you're not being a trickster.
That goes against the spirit of the game.
It's my naivete.
Yeah. I do actually try to make them even, right? Like in terms of like, what do you think would get fact checked? Because not every news article that sounds crazy got a fact check. Anyway. All right, last one.
I'm just notoriously wrong. Hit me.
Okay. Social media reports claim a video shared this week was of first responders getting to a freeway on Indiana full of zebras and camels that got out from a truck transporting them to a weekend circus performance.
Okay. That's number one. Or social media reports are claiming that since 2010, the National Health Service in Britain, social media posts are claiming the waits have gone from an average of 2 months to get something done to an average of 2 years. Was that one fact checked, or the videos of circus animals running around on the freeway? Okay. So I think it's the NHS one. So my guess is the circus animal.
Well, you're 0 for 3 today.
That's the George Costanza method of reaning.
You finally got one, but then you reversed yourself because the fact-checked one was the NHS wait times. They apparently... So yeah, the average in 2010 was 2 months, but the 2 years is not the average now. 2 years is the extreme right now. That's the high end. So they're conflating too.
Well,
the circus animals just did happen.
Tried.
Got me again.
Yeah. Well,
just happened.
That's the joy I get in life,
as it does.
Professor. That's the joy I get is fooling you. It's just the simple things. All right, let's wrap up with something good.
A gulp or a sip, maybe even a hit, and join us for and join us for
Okay, it just does't happen every day, but sometimes you come across a story that just makes you smile. The IRS collected $500 million in back taxes from delinquent millionaires in 2023, sentencing some to prison.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently the IRS, thanks to, not having their funding cut and their staff slashed, they've started really scrutinizing high-income taxpayers, working to reverse the historic low audit rates of the wealthiest individuals that's been going on. The said IRS Commissioner Danny Werfel, referring to previous White House administrations, might remain nameless, but we know who cuts the taxes of the super rich. So to quote the IRS Commissioner, we are adding staff and technology to ensure that the taxpayers with the highest income, including partnerships, large corporations, and millionaires and billionaires, pay what is legally owed under federal law. They got a Swiss bank to pay back $122 million to the U.S. Treasury.
Excellent.
Yeah, they did it so admitting they played a role helping U.S. taxpayer clients evade their taxes by opening undeclared accounts to conceal money. The bank held 1,637 accounts with assets of $5.6 billion on behalf of clients who collectively evaded $50 million in taxes.
Well done.
Woo!
That's really what it takes, right? Cooperation with the international banking community. Panama Papers.
Hit him where it hurts.
Yeah. Also in December, one individual was sentenced to 28 months in federal prison and ordered to pay almost $500,000 in restitution for filing false tax returns while working as a money mule for romance scams. And then the one I think what I really like to see, because it's the complex scams. They got one person for 57 months in prison. They failed to pay $1.35 million in taxes arising from their operation of restaurants in the Washington, D.C. area. They managed to evade taxes by concealing assets and obscuring money they took from businesses by purchasing property in the name of a fake entry and then putting false entries into the business books and records to hide their personal purchases. So they were just skimming profits from their restaurants and spend it on shit and then cooking the books. Well, not anymore. They've got almost 5 years in prison for that. And
Woo!
that's really, to me, that's the feel good. It's not just that we're finally getting the money to help pay for the infrastructure and social services that we need from the people that can fucking afford to pay their taxes but don't. But we're seeing some real consequences. Like, oh, you want to get out and paying the bill? Well, you're going to fucking prison, because it's just a fact that you can't be a successful business in this country without using public utilities and things there for the public good. You use the roads, you enjoy the police protection that come and arrest shoplifters in your store. It's just absurd that those with the most have been getting away with not paying for the very things that make their success possible.
Yep, this is a win for civil society for sure.
Fuck yeah. And that's why it's this week's Half-Cocked Feel-Goods. If you've got a half-cocked feel-good you'd like to have us talk about, let us know.
How about a full-cock feel-good?
Yeah, well, you can find that on your own, I'm sure. Or, look up Mike Johnson's app. Can I link to his app to see what dirty shit he's watching? That would be the real honest thing, right? Not that it goes to his son, but it went to like a public fucking board where we could log in and be like, what's he watching?
Why can't we hold them accountable?
Yeah, right? That's too accountable. He doesn't want to be held too accountable. Just his son, which, let me tell you, are you going to stand up to your dad? Like, imagine you are that son, and like you're 15, and the app dings, and dad's looking at porn. What are you going to do?
Basically, dad's saying it's okay for you to look at porn, too.
You're going to look at porn because he's not going to report you, right? That's why it's not on his wife's phone. That's why it's on his son's phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's mutually assured destruction.
Okay, this just derailed right as I was trying to wrap up. That's fucking funny. All right. Before we wrap up, I do want to thank Monsters, Inc. When you need your child terrified to the brink, think Monsters, Inc. I wrote that myself after a few drinks. And sadly, it doesn't look like we have any time left for that one easy trick that leaves casinos mad as hell.
Next time.
I suspect it's not going, but we'll save that for later.
They hate that.
They hate that. I'd like to give a shout out to Science, Congeniality, and the Social Contract, making society better than anarchy for many of the last thousands of years. Gentlemen, any final words or thoughts or goodbyes today?
No, have a good one.
Yeah, good.
Chill
All
out,
right.
man.
Happy Sunday, or whatever day it is.
All right, folks, have a wonderful day. If you had a good time with us, you know what to do. Tell someone that needs us. You can find us over at halfcocktails.com. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Discord. If you are in a giving mood, we got the Patreon up and running. You can give us a tip there. We'll have all those links in the episode description. I just want to say thanks for stopping by and go out and be well.
Now things are ending, it's time to go. No more to get through, thanks for listening, that's our show. Ain't affectation, we're just leaving you half-cocked. Half-cocked, half-cocked. We had a good time talking today, but even best times eventually they fade away. Ain't adjuration, we're just leaving half-cocked.